Grant, they were kind of tight-lipped about it yesterday. I had no idea until Zach Arns had mentioned it to us yesterday at the All-American Steakhouse. And the only reason Zach knew is because he does work for the Naturals sometimes. That Clayton Kershaw was going to be pitching against the Naturals a year after Justin Verlander was at Arvest Park. So I didn't have the choice. I had to call Arkansas versus Little Rock. If I had a choice, man, I mean, you don't get to see a future Hall of Famer pitch very much. Which one did you take advantage of?
Well, I went to the Arkansas game not really knowing till after the fact about Kershaw, and I would have gone to Arkansas anyway, like you. But, I got to see Verlander. I got to see Nootbaar in Springdale, Ortiz, and I'm trying to think it seemed like there was one other notable major leaguer in that group I was telling you about. But, that would have been fun. I guess he did okay last night. He had done well against Oklahoma City, and but he's on the 60-day, so I'm not sure when he's coming back. Are you to the Dodgers?
I guess it would be 60 days from when the Major League season begins. So, I mean, it's still going to be till the end of May, I would think. So, who knows? Maybe you'll see him pitch here again.
They're struggling a little bit. The Dodgers started off like a house on fire, and then I see today where Ohtani, who had the paternity leave, is at 264. Betts is at 231. Those don't look right. Tommy Edmonds hit 8 home runs for them, though, and every time I think about that, I get sick because he was I don't know why the Cardinals let him go. It's crazy.
The Cardinals have had some interesting decisions in recent years. Not much to watch in the NL Central right now, is there? Somebody asked the other day, do you think anybody's really going to come out? I mean, somebody's going to be a division champion, but there won't be a wild card team out of the Central this year. At least I don't think there will.
I was talking to Dan Reardon, a longtime friend in golf circles, who's been on KMOX for a long time in St. Louis, and he's not very high on like they've only got one really great prospect, I think, in the minor leagues right now, the Cardinals, and it's just kind of like they're marking time until something. I don't know, but they did win last night, 10-4 over Atlanta, which is also struggling in their early season.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna change the subject a little bit, Grant. NFL draft coming up. I mean, it's gonna. I believe it's Thursday. Landon Jackson. I think we all believe. I think he's gonna have success. He could be an All-Pro. I totally love his game. Who's the second Razorback off the board?
Well, we I think we were talking last week about maybe Armstrong, but I'm not so sure it's not Tesla.
Wouldn't that just be crazy, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, it would. But I saw today, I guess it's going to be Travis Hunter going second because Cam Ward, it looks like Tennessee is going to take him number one. Now, I guess these things could change, but right now that looks like the top two. And, the thing with Hunter is he's, got to find a place that's willing to. He really wants to play both ways.
Well, you put a package in for him, right? Like you kind of stroke his ego. I get it. Like and he's uber talented. No question about it. But you can't play 112 snaps in an NFL game for 16 games. You're not going to be able to.
Just listen to the kid talk.
I read a story. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, listen to Travis Hunter talk. All he talks about is I want to be a two-way guy.
That's why you put a package in. Yeah, he's playing. I'm not saying he doesn't play offensive defense every single game. You gotta get him off the field a little bit.
It's like, why would you draft him and say no? This is what you are, because I mean that's bringing somebody in that's automatically going to have the wrong attitude about what you want him to be. It just, to me, it wouldn't make any sense, Grant.
Well, there's a story today about Champ Bailey who did this, and of course Dion did it and had some success. But Bailey talked about how all the meetings you have to go to and how time-consuming it all is just on one side of the ball. But I mean, to me, that's kind of overcomplicating. And I mean, I'm with you, Matt. If the guy can do it, just give him a package. And,
let him react. You don't have to make it difficult for him. Let him make plays. Let him use his natural instinct. That's kind of like who's the outside linebacker at LSU that was like freshman of the year in on defense. Just he single-handedly beat us when we had our backup quarterback in, and we couldn't block him. And then it's like they get a new they change his role and don't let him be instinctual. It's like let the dude play football.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and we'll just have to see what happens with it. But I mean, reading this thing that Bailey said, it was like it sounded impossible, and I'm thinking, hey, come on, just did you see the picture in Sports Illustrated of Bailey with the two big fish he caught that just came out recently? I thought that was kind of interesting. Apparently, he's pretty good at fishing too.
Wait, who is that?
Travis Hunter. Did I say?
He's a good fisher too. He's a good fisherman. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like he's pretty good at anything he might put his time into. There's just some people that are pretty good about that. I don't know. You be a baseball tonight. You know these Wednesday games. I know like Wednesday baseball games in college are usually kind of crazy and you never know what to expect. But I just have a feeling of what to expect today, Grant. And it's something like 15 or 16 runs because that's what's happened in the previous 3 Wednesday games. So, I don't know. I'm not asking for a prediction of a final score. It's just you want to get the good feelings going on the road against Florida, but I still don't see evidence that anything that happens midweek in college baseball carries over to the weekends.
Well, I did like last night that everybody pretty much hit up and down the lineup except, let's see, I guess Cujillo went 0 for 3, right? The other guys got at least a hit. It's good to see Frazier get 2 hits. He came and talked after the game, and I say tonight advisedly because it's a 5 o'clock game and it's on SEC Network. If people can't get to the game tonight, it was a good crowd last night. It was a fun atmosphere. I thought a lot of ULR fans there, and the biggest thing to me, Phil, and I heard you talk about this before the game, I believe, was Dietz, and so. We asked Dave about it afterwards, and I don't know, maybe if they'd have played 9 innings, maybe he'd have pitched last night. He's going to pitch tonight. He's not going to start. Fisher is going to start the game. We finally dragged that out of him, late in the press conference. But to me, man, if Dietz could come back and be another guy, we saw what Wiggins did last night. 3 strikeouts, 13 pitches, 4 away from an immaculate inning, I guess. If you had 2 guys like that, all of a sudden you'd look a lot different toward postseason.
Well, I think that was important for Wiggins yesterday. I think what they told him is, we want to run rule this team. The score's 10-0, but we want you to act like it's 1-0 here. Because that's a thing that I do wonder about. Who are you going to give the ball to in the 9th inning? Because you're going to be playing teams these next 4 weeks where there are going to be 9th inning situations where somebody's got to come in and slam the door. And I'm not sure if they're too confident in who to give that job to. And I don't know if it'd be Jimenez. Like, he's going to come in the 5th or the 6th inning. I don't know if it'll be by because he'll come in earlier in the game. I'm talking about a fireman that you bring on in the 8th or 9th inning in a 1-run game to pour water on a potential rally. And I think they told Wiggins to act like that was the situation yesterday.
Yeah, that was good. Dylan Carter had a good inning too. This team, I mean, the 35-7 is really good. I wouldn't worry too much about losing 4 out of 6. It's going to happen in this conference to anybody, But Florida this weekend could be. I know they're not up there in the standings, but that's always a tough place to go. And then the last 3 are ridiculous, Texas and LSU and Tennessee. Is that right? Is that the last 3?
That's the last one. That's right.
Conference opponents.
Yeah.
So there's going to be plenty to say grace over. But to me, it still all leads toward postseason and what can you do there. And David kind of has an edge to him these days. And I think he knows the potential that this team has. And so, you want to maximize it. And I think it was tough losing Souza. They're going to get Parker Coyle back at some point, which is good. But I still think this team could do a lot of damage at Omaha, and it's going to be fun to watch everything leading up to it.
Hey, Grant, I know we're about 3 weeks away from Quail Hollow PGA Championship. Rory McIlroy, starting the majors off, and Tiger has that stat where he's won like 50% of his tournaments he's won on the same 5 golf courses, and we know Rory's success he's had at Quail Hollow. Do you have him as the early favorite? And if you're Rory, how many of these tournaments do you play before going into the PGA Championship?
Well, he's playing kind of a fun thing with Lowry this week at New Orleans.
Yeah, they won it last year.
Yeah, that's right. And, maybe not too much before that. I also say look at Justin Thomas, because he won the last time that thing was played there. What was it, 17 maybe? He was really young when he won that first major, and now he's won again last week. He's got a lot of confidence. So, yeah, I would probably start with those two if you're handicapping Charlotte coming up. And Scheffler hasn't won this year. He's been all around it, 2-3 shots back in a lot of tournaments, so he's probably getting more and more frustrated too.
Grant, I got to close on just the situation here with the Iamaleava family, and I guess we would have talked with you last week about the situation with Nico. Well, we all knew, and plenty of people sent in on the text line, that they expected the same thing may happen with his younger brother, and it does. Do you think going after the NIL money could negatively impact recruiting? I mean, I think public opinion is firmly on the school's side in that case, but then there's also another side of that public opinion, which could be, in a lot of cases, potential future recruits.
Yeah, I mean, this family, what was it, 1.8, I guess we're reading, and then I don't know how much Iamaleava, who was at Arkansas, is going to get. But it could be that he went through the spring and, and saw maybe himself third behind, behind Green and KJ Jackson. The thing I kind of wonder about is those two guys competing for the same position at UCLA, which apparently has enough money to do this. What's that going to be like, competing with your brother for playing time? But somebody was telling me last night that Arkansas may sort of resist. In other words, he got this money to come to Arkansas, and he was here for a spring but never played. And so who's going to be the first school to step out there and say, wait a minute, we want our money back? I mean, have you heard that? Have you guys heard that the UA may be considering trying to get his money back?
That was the tweet from Hunter Yurchek yesterday. It's basically exactly what he said without naming the athlete. And I think they're perfectly within their rights to do so. If the contract language says one thing and you don't get that aspect of what you spent your money on, sure, go after it. I just wonder what it is that the contract states, and what is it that the athletes are paid for in college. And they're paid for reasons that are different than pro sports. They're paid in college now for their NIL likeness, not for the games. And in pro sports, it's the other way around. You may have to get to a point where you're actually paying them for the games, which makes them employees, and Grant, the schools don't want that.
Yeah, and I mean, that would be interesting to see the language, and I guess it's maybe it'll get lawyered up, just being here for a spring, fulfill what money you got. I'm sure maybe they'll fight that out.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch for NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the number one online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.